I know of at least 2 or 3 teams outside of just the Lakers that want to schedule workouts and have meetings with Bronny James. But the Lakers have made it clear since the season ended. I know I've said it here as well. They want to bring back LeBron James.
The narrative around Bronny James couldn't have been more different up until this point. A few years ago, we were expecting Bronny James to be the most intriguing prospect in the NBA draft, and all that changed the moment he suffered a congenital heart defect. But as a result of the NBA draft combine and recent analysis about the 2024 NBA draft, Bronny James's future could be much more complicated than we think. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. We just turned $25 into $225, $35 into $105 the night before, and now PrizePicks is giving us another free square. All Caitlin Clark needs is 1 point in her WNBA debut, and her square will hit. I give away all my picks for free on my Instagram story at TheFlightMike. You guys have been hitting me up in the DMs letting me know how well it's been going for you guys. And right now, you'll get up to a $100 deposit match when you use my promo code FlightMike when you sign up for PrizePicks, or just click in the link in the description down below. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? From the very beginning, LeBron James told his son that he had one wish and one wish only.
I want him to get to the NBA. I want to be on the same. I want to be on the court with him. I think that'd be an unbelievable moment.
Who do you want to play with?
Bronny is number one on my fucking list.
That's dope.
He's number one on my list that I want to play with.
Right when Bronny suffered a congenital heart defect, LeBron just happened to pull an old switcheroo. To give you an idea, 1 year ago, LeBron James was tweeting, "Man, Bronny's definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Lightweight hilarious." And then 1 year later, he's saying, "Can y'all please just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? The work and results will ultimately do the talking no matter what he decides to do. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what a mock draft says. He just works, earn, not given." I really appreciate the lack of self-awareness from LeBron James. But it's been a very difficult year for Bronny James. He was supposed to go to USC. He was supposed to be one of the most dominant players in the entire country, or at least play a very important role for USC. A congenital heart defect took all that away. A congenital heart defect put his basketball career in serious jeopardy. The fact that he's even playing currently is nothing short of a miracle. But on top of deciding to come back and play, which in of itself was remarkable, Bronny James put together a very terrible first season at USC. To give you an idea, Bronny James averaged 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists off of 36.6 shooting from the field, and this is despite playing about 20 minutes per game. For those of you guys wondering what his 3-point percentage was, it was horrible, 26.7% from 3. Every basketball fan unanimously agreed that Bronny could have used another year. It worked for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's first season at Louisville was practically the exact same thing as Bronny James's first season at USC, playing in about 19 minutes, averaging 7 points per game, shooting 25% from 3 and 44% from the field. Okay, so maybe not as terrible, at least efficiency wise, but 1 extra year at Louisville made all the difference for Donovan Mitchell. He was able to average 15.6 points per game, brought his 3-point percentage up by 10% to 35%, and became a lottery pick in the NBA draft. Not rookie of the year though, because that belonged to Ben Simmons. But Bronny James's situation is so much different, because despite his father saying, "Can everybody stop putting pressure on my son?" he's under a lot of pressure to go into the NBA immediately. LeBron James is making history. Putting up the numbers that he was able to put up in his age 39 season has never been done before. The fact that you could go into the NBA and play with your 40-year-old father while he's still averaging over 25 points per game and is shooting his career best from 3-point is an opportunity that no individual gets. So if you have the chance to go into the NBA and even slightly can make your father happy, then why wouldn't you go for it? And this sets the stage for where Bronny is right now. He shocked the world when he stated that he was going to enter the NBA draft draft, but also enter his name into the transfer portal. Just the other day, according to Shams, Bronny James appears to be headed for the NBA draft and won't be pursuing a college option. So typically, fans don't really pay a lot of attention to the NBA draft combine. It's there, but you don't necessarily see players boosting their value into the top 5 or the top 10. As a matter of fact, some of the best players in the nation skip the draft combine, but for Bronny, it was make or break. Immediately the morning of the combine, Adrian Wojnarowski got to work, pumping up Bronny James's draft value to a very suspicious degree. And I believe this is probably the main reason why Adrian Wojnarowski has me blocked, because sometimes I feel like the level at which he goes to market some of these players is kind of suspicious, especially when we all trust him to the level that we do. These are just theories. I still to this day have no idea why Woj decided to block me, but I'm assuming it's that. But I digress. Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted out that ESPN sources with the Draft Express, in the aftermath of his cardiac arrest and a procedure to repair a congenital heart defect 9 months ago, the NBA's fitness to play panel has medically cleared USC's Bronny James to be drafted and play in the league story soon. I'm personally very skeptical about any player in the NBA playing when he has a congenital heart defect, but I'm not a doctor and these people are, so we're just gonna trust him. But you'll understand why I think Adrian Wojnarowski's pumping of Bronny James's value is a little suspicious. When asked why Bronny James could potentially go in the first round, this is all Woj had to say about it.
Yeah, Bronny James is going to have an impact for organizations, not just on the basketball side, but potentially on the business side. He's almost assuredly going to start in the G League. He will pack G League arenas, merchandising, all of those make him an attractive player, whether it's late first round or second round. So I think certainly his opportunity to play in the NBA is there.
So hold on, timeout. We are drafting a player in the first round of the NBA draft just because he will pack G League arenas and because he'll sell G League merchandise? I mean, look, just a little test here. Let me know in the comment section down below if you would purchase Bronny James G League merchandise, or if you would go to a G League arena or a G League game just to watch Bronny James play. Personally, I can't imagine that being a thing. If you want to say the San Antonio Spurs may use one of their top 10 picks in a very weak NBA draft to potentially draft Bronny James and try to lure LeBron James over, I'll accept it. It's very far out there, but I'll accept it. If you wanted to back up that point by saying that this is one of the weakest NBA drafts in recent memory, some people are comparing the #1 overall pick in this year's NBA draft to the equivalent of being able to select Tobias Harris or Derek Lively from last year's NBA draft, which is a very solid player, but Derek Lively was the 12th overall pick in the NBA draft last year. I'll still accept it. It's a far out there theory, but it makes a lot more sense than saying Bronny James could be selected in the first round because he can pack G League arenas and because he can sell G League merchandise. But that's just my opinion on it. I respect anyone's take. Maybe I'm the one that's out of line. Maybe people love the G League and I'm just a G League hater. Maybe Bronny James could be the Caitlin Clark of the G League. With that aside, I have to admit, Bronny James had a remarkable NBA draft combine. I mean, he went viral on social media for a 40-inch vertical, which put him in the top 3 of the highest vertical leaps in the entire draft class. And on top of that, he was able to make 12 three-pointers in a row in one of his drills, which just makes me think that LeBron James has always been training Bronny to be his prototypical type of player. You know, a solid 2-guard that can play defense and hit the wide open 3, which there's nothing wrong with that, but this was a very good showing from Bronny. I think the amount of publicity that Bronny James is getting, plus the stakes that come with potentially drafting him, meaning you could potentially lure LeBron James over, combined with the fact that this is one of the weakest drafts in recent memory, could entice a team to potentially select him in the first round. But at the same time, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if Bronny James goes in the second round or goes undrafted altogether. At the end of the day, I think we're watching Bronny James's draft stock go up a little bit, and I think what can happen with his storyline could be one of the most unprecedented things we've seen in NBA history. I mean, could you imagine if the Spurs decided to select him with one of their top 10 picks and lure over LeBron James as a result of that? I know it's far out there, but that'd be pretty insane. Could you imagine if the Golden State Warriors drafted Bronny James and then LeBron James signed a contract with the Warriors? The Lakers are constantly putting it out there that they would happily draft Bronny James, and according to Shams, so far there's only 2 to 3 other teams that are really meeting with Bronny that are interested in selecting him that aren't the Los Angeles Lakers. I will say at the end of the day, if Bronny is selected with the 17th overall pick in this year's NBA draft, I think it's going to be one of the craziest moments in NBA history. Selecting a player that averaged less than 5 points per game and shot 36.6% from the field with a first round pick is absolutely crazy. But I'm rooting for the man to succeed, and of course I hope this story has a happy ending. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.